A team I don't have emotional distance from is the New York Rangers. Let's turn.
Crazy we got two but I mean, crazy trade deadline for the NBA, but then also like a fun NHL trade on the same day as
Unreal.
well.
The NHL decided to actually do something interesting. And so for those of you who may not follow hockey, the New York Rangers, ahead of the trade deadline by a few weeks at this point, have acquired Vladimir Tarasenko, who is a Stanley Cup winner from the St. Louis Blues. They also got a defenseman for depth, which was desperately needed because the Rangers are quite thin on their blue line, especially on the left side. A player named Nico Mikkola, Finnish guy, and they only sent out a conditional 2023 first round pick, and the Rangers have two first round picks. One from the Dallas Stars, which they got in exchange for a defensive prospect, Niels Lundqvist, offensive defenseman, and their own. And the trade is that the Blues get whichever one is worse, whichever one is a like lower in this, and both the Stars and the Rangers are in the playoff hunt right now, so both will probably make the playoffs. So it's not going to be a high first round pick, but this is supposed to be a very loaded draft, and the Blues are struggling right now after their core is kind of just aging a bit. And Tarasenko had a no trade clause, and he's good friends with Artemi Panarin. Seems like he waived it to go just to the Rangers, and the Rangers were able to offload Sammy Blais, who has been struggling hard ever since his ACL tear. And Tarasenko does have a large cap hit, but the Blues are retaining 50% of it. And Tarasenko, his contract expires at the end of the year. But this is like the ideal rental, an elite rental prospect, a top six winger on the right, because the Rangers really have only true one right wing right now, and that's Capo Caco, who's been playing amazingly. He's my favorite young Ranger. Him and Keandre Miller, I root for them hard. But this is a move that you make when you're serious about winning a Stanley Cup.
And we were kind of ascending too. Like they've also been
Yes.
playing some of their best hockey in the last few weeks as well.
Exactly. And they had a guy, they had Jimmy Vesey, who was almost out of the NHL this year, but has played surprisingly well. Good, but they were smart enough to know Vesey can't play on the top line
Right.
with Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin,
No.
the two of the most skilled forwards in the league. You have to have somebody that can make that top line dominant, because the Rangers, the line that's producing the most for them is Filip Chytil, Alexi Lafreniere, and Capo Caco, the kid line, or boys to men, as my friends over at Blue Shirts Breakaway like to call them. And so getting them to retain salary because the Rangers are cap strapped, and the Rangers still have a first round pick that will stay with them. This is a fleece. Okay. It would be a fleece if Tarasenko had more time on his deal. He'll be a free agent after this year. He probably won't be with the Rangers, but he wants to win another cup, and then he'll hit free agency, and someone will pay him more because the Rangers won't be able to afford him for sure. But he will contribute this year, and they'll begin to build chemistry ahead of that trade deadline for a Stanley Cup run. Like, this is a general manager who I've had criticisms of in the past, like the Buchnevich trade was terrible, but this is a general manager who understands, okay, we need a right wing right now if we actually want to compete for the cup. I'm not going to just be okay with Jimmy Vesey producing on that line. He understands who the drivers of offense are on that line and how to take them to the next level. And it's just a very, very exciting development. I mean, Tarasenko at his peak was one of the top players in the league. He struggled with some injuries, but honestly, I do think that Artemi Panarin sometimes struggles to find chemistry with other guys on his line. Having another Russian speaker, having another playmaker, having a veteran who has done it before, won a cup with the Blues. I'm so excited. And after the Rangers had kind of been middling up until this point in the season, this is the move where you're like, pedal to the metal, let's go. Any other thoughts, Bradley? I'm just very excited.
I was saying this to you before. I love to see this type of thing, especially just like I appreciate when teams, especially when they're kind of hitting a certain sweet spot, feel as if they don't want to just like rest on their laurels and just kind of ride that out and think, how can we actually like materially improve? And yes, Tarasenko's 31, but like if you have a chance to get one of the best scorers of the past like 5 years in the league, like like you said, has a winning pedigree, has won a Stanley Cup, and clearly, if you'll recall, I was watching it back. Had like an electric goal against the Rangers in the at Madison Square Garden. Like I think he's ready for the moment, and I think he likes playing in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think this is a perfect trade to make at the right time. And I was just looking when I was doing a little research or just kind of seeing some reactions to the trade. Vince Mercoliano, a Rangers reporter for USA Today,
Yeah, I know Vince
was just
through Twitter.
looking through some of the lines, like some of the, like, kind of like speculatively as these trades as the trade market was kind of developing, and just thinking about like Panarin, Zibanejad, Tarasenko as like that first line is really really strong.
Yeah.
Then the kid line being Hedl, Kako, and
Loff, yeah,
and Lafreniere, and then Chris Kreider, Vincent Trocheck, and Jimmy Vesey, and then down to the fourth line where Barclay Goodrow and Julian Gauthier are. And I guess I'm not sure who the other person would be.
Leskinen, he's like a recent acquisition. The fourth
But
line,
but that's not that's if that's like really the only question. Like that's pretty immaterial. Like this is a really really solid deep team now.
Especially in the way that Gerard Gallant, he is not somebody that plays his lines with equality, with equal time, and by any stretch of the imagination,
which makes us even like more.
The fourth line guys haven't scored all year, and they won't score. He
Right.
just puts them out there as a way to like for a physical presence, sometimes after a goal, or just a way to get the guys the rest. So I actually don't. I like that strategy. I don't mind it at all.
Oh yeah,
so
maximize the amount of time on the ice that your best players are going to be there.
And a guy like Goodrow is a really good penalty killer too. So I think they try to prioritize getting guys forwards that are defensively responsible for their fourth line, and then they can put them out in the penalty kill as well. Good job, Chris Drury. You might be a Republican asshole from what I hear, but incredible.
No, this was a good move.
Move.
I was super excited to see this.
Yep. Even though you're a Devils fan,
yeah,
we literally could be facing each other in the first round. That'd be fun. As it stands right now, that's what it would be.
I'll wear my Kyle Palmieri jersey to the office.
Oh my god, I'm going to be wearing Panarin jersey, my Kako jersey. I got an old Ryan Callahan jersey.
Ryan Callahan, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah.